What if you were on the phone with your own child, guiding them home in the dead of night, and suddenly, mid-conversation, they vanished? No goodbye, no sound of running, no crash, just silence. This is exactly what happened in May of 2008. 19-year-old Brandon Swanson had just finished his first year of college. He was driving home on quiet rural roads when he took a wrong turn. Lost, stranded, and frustrated, he called his parents for help. For more than an hour, they stayed on the line, listening, directing, reassuring. And then came 4 chilling words. Words that would haunt his father forever. "Oh shit. I can see you." Seconds later, Brandon was gone. How does someone disappear while still on the phone? What did he see that night in the darkness? And why has not a single trace of him ever been found? This is not just a missing persons case. It is one of the most unsettling mysteries in modern America. This is the story of Brandon Swanson. May 14th, 2008. It was the kind of night that should have been unremarkable. 19-year-old Brandon Swanson, fresh from finishing his first year at Minnesota West Community and Technical College, had spent the evening celebrating with friends. It wasn't a wild party, not the sort that spirals out of control, just a quiet gathering of young people enjoying the relief of exams being behind them, their futures still unwritten. Brandon was known to his family as independent, level-headed, and responsible. He wasn't the type to vanish without explanation. His parents, Brian and Annette, trusted him. They had no reason to worry that this evening would be different. Just after midnight, Brandon climbed into his green Chevy Lumina. The spring air was cool, the rural roads empty, fields stretching into darkness on either side. These were landscapes he knew: flat farmland, gravel paths, and sleepy small towns scattered across western Minnesota. He'd driven them countless times. But that night, something went wrong. In the maze of identical roads, Brandon made a wrong turn. Instead of heading toward his hometown of Marshall, he found himself driving west. By 1:15 a.m., on a gravel stretch outside of Lind, his car veered off the road and dropped into a ditch. It wasn't a dramatic crash, the Lumina wasn't damaged, and Brandon walked away without a scratch. Still, the car was stuck. Alone in the darkness, the endless quiet of farmland pressing in, Brandon reached for his phone. A simple call for help. A problem easily solved. At least, that's what it should have been. At 1:54 a.m., Brandon dialed his parents. He told them he was fine, unhurt, just stranded. His voice was calm. He wasn't panicked, wasn't slurring, wasn't confused. He asked them to come pick him up near Lind, a town he believed he was on the outskirts of. Brian and Annette didn't hesitate. They got into their car and headed out into the night. As they drove, Brandon stayed on the line, describing his location. He flashed his headlights, certain they'd be able to spot him when they arrived. His father blinked his headlights in return, searching for the glow of his son's car. But when they reached the spot Brandon described, there was nothing. No green Chevy Lumina. No stranded teenager waving them down. Just darkness and empty roads. For 47 minutes, Brandon remained on the phone with his father. They worked through the problem together. Brandon insisted he was near Lind. His father drove back and forth, headlights sweeping the gravel roads, but saw nothing. Growing frustrated, Brandon decided to walk toward the lights of Lind, which he said he could see in the distance. He believed if he kept moving, they'd be able to meet halfway. His father stayed on the line, guiding him, reassuring him. The conversation was ordinary, steady, even casual. And then without warning, Brandon's tone changed. He interrupted himself mid-sentence, his voice sharp, alarmed. "Oh shit, I can see you." Those were the last words his father ever heard. The line went dead. And with that, Brandon Swanson was gone. At first, Brian assumed his son had dropped the phone, or maybe the battery had died. He called again, and again. No answer. He and Annette drove the roads for hours, leaning out of the car, calling Brandon's name into the dark. They honked their horn, desperate for a reply. But the farmland gave nothing back. By morning, panic had set in. They called police and reported their son missing. But instead of urgency, they were met with dismissal. 19-year-olds walk away all the time, officers told them. He was probably hungover or staying with a friend. Give it time. But the Swansons knew their son. He wasn't reckless. He wasn't careless. Something was wrong. Hours later, when police finally took the case seriously, they made a chilling discovery. Brandon's car was located, but not where he had said. Instead of being outside of Lind, the Chevy Lumina was found on a gravel road near Taunton, nearly 25 miles away. Nothing about Brandon's directions matched reality. The town he thought he was near, the headlights he swore he saw, even the road he believed he was walking on, all of it was wrong. Something about that night was deeply, unnervingly off. With Brandon missing and his car abandoned, the search widened. Police brought in tracking dogs. Almost immediately, the bloodhounds picked up his scent. They traced it away from the car, down the gravel road, across open fields, and toward the Yellow Medicine River. There, the trail stopped. The river was swollen with spring rains, its current unpredictable. Searchers wondered if Brandon had fallen in. His final words, the sudden alarm, the abrupt end of the call, seemed to fit. Perhaps he slipped, lost his footing, and drowned. The river was dragged. Divers combed its depths. Boats scanned with sonar. But nothing surfaced. No body, no clothes, no phone. Other dogs later traced a different path, suggesting Brandon might have crossed the river and continued walking. If true, then what happened after? Did he collapse in exhaustion? Did someone find him? Or did he keep walking into the farmland until the night swallowed him whole? The landscape was vast. Endless fields, dirt roads, farmsteads scattered miles apart. Finding one young man in the dark was like chasing a shadow. But one thing was clear. Brandon had not simply vanished by choice. Something had stopped him. As the years passed, theories took root. The accident theory argued that Brandon drowned in the Yellow Medicine River. It was the simplest explanation, but critics pointed out the lack of evidence. The river had been searched repeatedly, thoroughly. A body, they argued, could not stay hidden forever. The foul play theory pointed to Brandon's last words. "I can see you." Who was he talking to? Did he mistake another car's headlights for his father's? Did he stumble upon someone else that night? Someone who meant him harm? If so, where was the evidence? Why has no trace ever been found? The confusion theory suggested Brandon may have been disoriented, possibly impaired from drinking, and simply misjudged his surroundings. He thought he saw Lind. He thought he saw his father's headlights. But he was miles away from both. Did he wander too far, collapse unseen, and escape searchers' notice? Each possibility seemed reasonable, yet none fit. Each opened a door, only to reveal more unanswered questions. And all the while, the silence deepened. For Brian and Annette Swanson, the nightmare was endless. Unlike families who lose a loved one to death, they had no closure. Unlike families of runaways, they had no hope of contact. Their son's last words were all they had, and they replayed them endlessly. Annette once described the torture of not knowing. "Every day, I look out and I think, where is he? Is he out there? Did he drown? Did someone hurt him? Did somebody take him?" I just want to know. Years turned into decades, but the search never truly stopped. Volunteers returned again and again, combing fields and riverbanks. Private investigators analyzed cell tower records, re-examined maps, reconstructed timelines. Each effort brought the same result: silence. The family eventually turned their grief into action. They lobbied lawmakers, insisting no other parents should endure what they had. Their fight led to Brandon's Law, legislation requiring police to treat missing adult cases with urgency, no matter the circumstances. Brandon's disappearance rewrote the rules of search and rescue in Minnesota. But for Brian and Annette, the victory was bittersweet. The law was too late for their son. And still, the phone call never truly ended. More than 15 years later, Brandon Swanson remains missing. No remains, no belongings, no credible leads. The farmland outside Taunton is silent now, but the mystery lingers in every ditch, every stretch of road, every bend of the Yellow Medicine River. Somewhere in that silence lies the truth. But until it is found, only Brandon's words endure. Oh shit. I can see you. Who or what did he see? His father's headlights, mistaken across the fields, a stranger waiting in the dark, or something else altogether? The case of Brandon Swanson is more than a disappearance. It is the echo of a voice cut off mid-sentence. It is the weight of uncertainty pressing down on a family who still waits, still searches, still hopes. And until the silence is broken, his voice will remain, forever calling from the dark. The vanishing of Brandon Swanson is not only a mystery, it is a wound. A family torn between hope and despair, a community haunted by what they couldn't find, and a question that refuses to die. How can someone vanish while on the phone with their own father? Perhaps someday the silence will break. Perhaps someone knows what happened in those final minutes, and one day they will speak. But for now, we are left with the voice of a young man in the dark, the sound of footsteps on gravel, and 4 words that may hold the key to everything. I can see you. If you enjoyed the video, kindly subscribe, like, and share. Until next time, thank you for watching.